crypto fun facts. Let's talk about FOMO and greed. Both of these emotions can be detrimental in crypto. They are associated with taking irresponsible, irrational, impulsive, and sometimes absurd trading decisions. FOMO stands for fear of missing out. It's that fear, that anxiety one has that if action is not immediately taken, a good opportunity will be missed. Greed is another negative emotion in crypto. It can influence people to take larger positions or to buy crypto with money they cannot afford to lose. Greed can go uncontrolled in the parabolic phase of the bull run. People get sloppy, they relax their risk management strategies. This is why we sometimes see traders suffering their worst losses after their best performing year. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. Bitcoin versus gold. Bitcoin and gold are considered valuable assets. Indeed, Bitcoin is often referred to as digital gold. Gold is a stable form of value. It appeals to the conservative investor, whereas Bitcoin is a highly volatile asset which has significantly outperformed gold as an investment. Both Bitcoin and gold are scarce. However, there are multiple untapped reserves of gold, both on Earth and in space, whereas Bitcoin has a hard cap of 21 million Bitcoins for the whole of humanity for all time. Gold is expensive and difficult to move, but Bitcoin is cheap and easy to move. In fact, Bitcoin can be moved anywhere in the world within a matter of minutes. Gold does have an established history of value. However, Bitcoin is the solution for the new digital age. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. In crypto, either a narrative is pumping or it's dead. In October 2021, Facebook, one of the world's largest companies, announced it was going to change its name to Meta and focus on building the metaverse. Naturally, this caused hype in crypto metaverse projects, so much so that virtual plots of land were selling for millions of US dollars. Indeed, a virtual plot of land in the cryptocurrency project Sandbox sold for over 4.3 million US dollars, and in another project called Decentraland, a virtual plot of land sold for over 2.4 million US dollars. The hype for cryptocurrency metaverse projects was short-lived. User adoption was low, and today cryptocurrency metaverse projects are considered more long-term plays. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. Let's talk about some cryptocurrency scams. Cryptocurrency scams are the same as other financial scams, except the scammers are after your crypto assets. Phishing scams. Phishing scams are designed to lure you into clicking links from which the scammer can access your cryptocurrency assets. These links can be sent to you. They can be posted in groups or on websites. Pump and dumps. A pump and dump is another classic scam tactic. This is where scammers inflate the price of a cryptocurrency project through hype and misleading information, only to sell their own bags at a profit, dumping the price on genuine investors. A rug pull. A rug pull is where the creators of a cryptocurrency project abruptly abandon it, taking all the invested funds with them, leaving investors high and dry. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. So what is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index? Well, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index is a market analysis tool. It operates on a scale between 0 and 100. 0 represents extreme fear and 100 represents extreme greed. The indicator uses a variety of data sources such as market volatility, dominance, momentum, social media trends, and surveys to help identify sentiment. The Fear and Greed Index should never be used in isolation. Instead, it should be combined with other indicators to identify market trends. Crypto investors use the tools to help them identify entry and exit positions. A market in extreme fear is often undervalued, and a market in extreme greed is often overbought. Crypto traders use the index to evaluate the overall risk in the market. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. So what are the main differences between cryptocurrencies and fiat currencies? Well, fiat currencies are government-issued money, such as the Great British Pound and the United States dollar. Fiat currencies are managed by central banks who can manipulate their value through monetary policies such as quantitative easing and interest rates, which can lead to problems like devaluation and inflation. Cryptocurrencies are internet-based digital currencies that are decentralized, meaning no central authority has control over them. Cryptocurrencies use cryptography for security and run on blockchain technology. Blockchains are digital databases that record cryptocurrency transactions. The supply of cryptocurrencies is either fixed or is algorithmically controlled, and cryptocurrencies are borderless. Subscribe for more crypto fun facts. Good day, everyone, and welcome back to a market review with Crypto Princess and Fomotion. Fomotion, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Awesome, I'm good. Can everyone hear us okay? I'm sure they can.
I think so.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So just before we start, I'm going to have a quick look at the chat. I absolutely love my community. So we've got DJ Brian, who's first. He gets the gold, followed by Silver, who gets the silver medal. Well done, Silver. We've got Mark V. Fomotion, you're here as well. You're in the chat. John Legend, lovely to see you today. Chipper, lovely to see you. Sorry, this is taking a while to go down. Jesse, lovely to see you in the chat, Jesse. Wayne C, good to have you. CJ, welcome. Alexandra G, the mod queen, welcome. Username, first time. Usernames in my community. I've known him for months, but I think it's the first time he's here on a live. See, I do watch and I do know who comes onto my lives. Jesse, can you do me a quick favor? Could you actually let the Telegram group that we're live now, please? Thank you. Donate, welcome. Harp, welcome. And I think that is it. Oh, Army Piper, welcome. Grandpa, welcome. J Velocity, welcome. Trade Intuition, welcome. Joe, I hope you're well. All set, welcome. JR, welcome. And the Hungry One, welcome. So Fomotion, I know you and many of the viewers will know you because you've been on my channel twice before. We've done your crypto story, which was a fascinating story. There was a lot of drama in your story. It was more of a Cinderella story where you really had to work to become the person that you are and become successful in cryptocurrency. And then we've also had you on to do a market review back when I was recording the market reviews, but it's lovely to have you on a live stream. Did you want to just quickly say hi to the chat before we move on?
Hi, chat. Good to all have you here. No, it's great. I like being back. It's always fun with you, and the community is always so excited and positive, and I love it. Good vibes.
And we will be sharing Fomotion's charts because I know how everyone likes to loves the charts in our community. And thank you so much, Alexandra G, for putting up Fomotion's YouTube and his X details.
It's my old YouTube, but still thank you. It's not my current channel though.
Okay, so we can do that later. I'm not sure if it's already in the description. It probably is because I normally do put the stuff in the description as well. But just so everybody knows, Fomotion has a free Telegram group. He also has a VIP Discord for anyone who's interested. And welcome, Poman. So Fomotion, there's a lot to get through. It's very exciting times. So we all know America doesn't get on with China. And they've kind of lifted up the tariffs for everyone else, apart from, they have this issue with China because, China's a grown economy and, it's doing so well for itself. Welcome, Blocky. So Fomotion, both Jerome Powell and Donald Trump want the best for America. Why can these two people not work together?
Yeah, I'm not much into the politics, but I do think that Trump just want to get things done, and Powell has, in my opinion, he's in that field longer, and he knows, like, yeah, we cannot change everything overnight. And if Trump then maybe he feels like, yeah, but I want it. So I don't know exactly what's going on between these two, and I don't really care as well.
Mm.
But I think it's all a matter of time. I think they both want the same thing, but one wants it faster than the other, I think. And it's not always in your own control. Also, not for Jerome Powell or Trump. So, yeah, that can lead to discussions over there, I can assume.
And we had that little drama yesterday with Donald Trump saying that, with China saying that there was a phone call between the two leaders, and Donald Trump was like, "No, there isn't." Who do you think's lying?
I don't know, but I do know that with Trump in office, it's never boring. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not too much into the like I said, into the politics or anything like that. I also, maybe I'm one of the fewer ones, but I also, at the end of the whole cycle, I don't think it really matters like that much. But like, yeah, with Trump in the office, we can expect probably a lot more shakeups, whether good or bad. Like there will always be something, I guess.
Okay, awesome. So just quickly, I know you prefer to look at the charts, and what I really do respect and what I like about you is that you zoom out and you look at the entire cycle. Welcome, Dave Digital. I see you there. I see you there. So we do have a Fed meeting coming up. Are you in the camp that we need to have quantitative easing before we have a bull run, or do you think, before we go into the parabolic phase of the bull run, or do you think it is possible for us to reach all-time new highs without quantitative easing?
Yeah, I think both actually, because it starts to show more and more that alt season, to call it like that, depends on the balance sheet. Like if there's more money, people can take loans, they can take risk. It makes sense that it's more than just seasonality. But then again, during the whole QT cycle so far, we already came pretty close to making new all-time highs for the altcoin market. So I
Mhm.
don't think that we're gonna need it to make new all-time highs. But if we get it, that yeah, I mean, that's the last thing that we need in this market, I think, to you know make everything complete. And I would not be surprised if it happens next week or in June. But yeah, like that's, I think, everybody's expectation kind of right now.
Okay, so just before we go into the charts, etc., we've had a lot of institutions come in with the ETFs. Do you think now, because I know you prefer to look at the charts more than the news, do you think we have more or less manipulation now in the markets with bigger players coming in?
I think that there is some more manipulation, for sure. There are more whales. Then again, they also increase the liquidity, so it's also going to take more to manipulate it. So all in all, it kind of balances out, I think. I mean, if these institutions were here 8 years ago, yeah, then the manipulation was through the roof, right? Because then the liquidity was so low, then BlackRock alone
Mhm.
could like really move the price of Bitcoin. And now they have been buying, but you don't see these crazy wicks like you see on shitcoins or whatever. Like they do it smart, they do it clever, they know what they do though. But it's getting a big market. Like it's not like a crypto is not the type of asset anymore that's living on $100 million market cap or whatever, right? It's into the trillions right now. Let's not underestimate that. So yeah, it takes a lot to manipulate it, but it happens 100%.
Mhm. Mhm. Um, ALJR, welcome to the chat and welcome to the show. So, what surprised you more about this cycle?
What surprised me about this cycle? Um, what surprised me about this cycle? Yeah, I had no things that were like big surprises.
Mhm.
What did surprise me though was the extreme extreme meme coin run that didn't really came to an end. Like,
Yeah.
of course, there are like meme coins outperforming. You had that last cycle as well. 2021 was crazy, but this time it was like when you thought it could not get any lower, like the stupidest shit. Sorry for demonetizing you, but then there was the next meme coin that sounded even more ridiculous, and people didn't care. The money just went right there. Like I was like, man, this is getting too hot, too dangerous. Like it surprised me how long that was lasting. Actually, how much sentiment can actually change so fast.
Exactly. You know, what surprised me the most about this cycle is the poor performance of utility coins. But that's because meme coins have done so well. Another thing that's surprised me a lot is that retail is still out of cryptocurrency. With the Trump coin, Trump boarded a lot of new retail, but they haven't tended to stay, if that makes sense. So in previous cycles, the Bitcoin dominance has been around 70%, etc. Do you think we're going to have to we're going to be seeing dominance go that high again, or do you think things have changed now?
Is this a moment where I can share some charting?
Yeah, 1 second. 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, look, this is a matter of like, do you really care if it's a yes or a no, right? Like, we can try to predict, like, hey, can it go any higher? And you can do that based on your Fibonacci, whatever that says, like, oh, 66% is possible. Like, it could, of course. Like, it has been going up really hard. So it could go up a little further, definitely. The thing is, though, that the Bitcoin dominance, people look at this and they try to make a conclusion out of their altcoins, right? Like, hey, how are altcoins doing? Let's take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, right? But you have to realize that this is Bitcoin against everything. So also against the dollar, right? So if the USDT or USDC stays at 1, but Bitcoin goes up, then the Bitcoin dominance automatically goes up. That basically says nothing about any altcoin. So therefore, I'm not much of a fan of this chart. There are better charts to look at than just the Bitcoin dominance. And you can do that without stable coins. There you will have this chart right here, and this shows like, yeah, it is already kind of in that territory and really overbought on the bigger time frames. But what I find even more important is if you look, this is from Benjamin Cowen's platform, right? This Into the Cryptoverse, and here you can look at the risk level for an asset, right? And the higher the risk, the more you should get out of it. The lower the risk, the better of buy it is, right? If you look at Bitcoin, for example, and you look at the highest risk levels, there was here, 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 and here. That was basically the moment to sell. But that's where the Bitcoin dominance is sitting right now, right before it went into 2021 alt season as well. And in 2017 alt season, it didn't even get that high. So I do feel like it could go a little higher, but it's more like, yeah, why are you really trying to time the top for this? Like, there's so much more downside at this point than upside that I feel like, yeah, who really cares at this point? It might go to 66, maybe to 70, but I would like not step on the Bitcoin train at this specific moment of the market. Definitely not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome. Let me change us back. I'm still getting used to this. I was just like,
yeah, you're good at
it. All of these things. Okay. So Bitcoin does tend to follow the M2 money supply, which is increasing. We kind of lag behind it by, 10 to 10, 11 weeks. Yeah. So based on that, do you think that we are due to have another another rally?
Yeah, well,
Rally.
if anything, we are maybe kind of already in that rally, right? I mean, Bitcoin just went to 75K and it's now at 95 in a couple weeks. And I have some trouble lately finding any chart that is slightly bearish in the mid long term. So yeah, and the money supply, I mean, it's getting a little hyped kind of metric slash chart for people to look at. They all look at it right now, so that makes you wonder, like, how true is it? But I think it is pretty true. Like, it makes sense. Like, so far this has played out so perfect. um yeah, I don't want to overcomplicate that. I think that there are many reasons for the market to go up, and the M2 could be one of those reasons, or something at least to justify it. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's wise to look at something like that instead of, you know, the sentiment and be like, oh, it's going down, let's sell, it's bad. Like, it's also part of zooming out, I think.
Okay, so let's focus on alt season now, because I think a lot of people have been disappointed with alt season taking so long. We have had a slight rally at the moment, so we are going through a rally. Do you think this rally is sustainable?
Can I show some things
Yeah,
again?
yep.
Bye bye. I So the thing with alt season is, like, first again, like, if you look at this dominance for Bitcoin, it is basically just like typing on screen, like, this is going down, like, that's it, right? And it's very simple. Bitcoin dominance going down is altcoin dominance overall going up, and altcoins outperforming Bitcoin is alt season. So yeah, this is one of the reasons that says, like, we could get it. um but we are definitely, like, not there yet. If anything, we are, and I said this in one of my latest videos as well, like, I have never seen so much opportunity in the market combined with confirmation. Like, everything kind of shows that this move is happening slash going to happen, but everything is still very low. Like, if you look at how many people there are in crypto right now as well, the YouTube viewers, etc.,
Mhm.
like, it's nothing, right? But that's where you want to buy, like, when it's low, like here, the prices were low. When it's low, like here, the prices were low. And when the retail steps in, they come in because of alt season. Bitcoin going to $108,000 didn't do much to the retail sentiment. Retail wants to see alt season, and I think that will push it even more. And yeah, if I look what's going on, there are a couple charts that you can take a look at, and you can all combine them and come with the best conclusion. But people were bearish on altcoins, which is a good sign, right? You want to counter trade that. So the sentiment was low. We just saw the retail that is barely here, and the people that are here were bearish. Um, the Fed kind of reduce their, they stopped reducing their balance sheet with a lot. It's close to stopping, periodly now and ending QT, and that would be the trigger basically. So yeah, that's another thing. And then I literally can show you more than 10 charts that show you, like, wow, this is extreme bottom signal what we're seeing right now. So yeah, I think we have a good time coming, and we needed it. We needed people not to believe in this, right? If I can show you one more thing, this is pretty funny actually. If you go back to 2017, this I have a list of altcoins right here, which were in the top 25, right? These were not shit coins or whatever. These was the top 25. If you look during a bull market, the purple line is Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin's bull market right here. We literally had altcoins that ran up with like 26x. We have seen some of the altcoins do that this cycle as well, but then they crash with 98%. Yeah, guys, I don't know, but what we have seen right now is like literally nothing compared to what this was. But this happened in the middle of a bull market, and after that, it went up with 15,000%, right? So, but that only happened because nobody believed here. The liquidity was gone. nobody believed, and yeah, the three people who bought, actually, they made the sickest gains of a lifetime, right? And I feel like we just had that phase of true disbelief, and yeah, that's much needed if you want to have an altcoin run. If everybody expects it, then who's gonna pump it? Like, nah. So yeah, the stars line up.
Okay, so welcome to Andy X. Andy S. To Andrew, to Erica, and Bullduck. So we've got some more people in the chat. I normally get about 1,000 comments in the chat. Yeah, they're always
Crazy.
going on.
Crazy.
It's hard to stay up with the chat. I do love it.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is we have had so much bullish news. We've got a president, we've got countries saying that they want to start Bitcoin strategic reserves and crypto stockpiles and competing against each other. We are in a digital bull run to get Bitcoin. Bitcoin has received as much legitimacy that it can receive. It can't receive any more legitimacy. Why is retail not in?
Well, let's not forget about the fact that because of all that news, Bitcoin did a 7x, and that was the highest market cap crypto asset out there. So that's definitely not bad. But the thing is that, again, retail, they don't come in probably because of Bitcoin. They think Bitcoin is boring. They want to make the overnight 100x's. They come in because of the altcoin market. And the altcoin market wasn't doing well yet. And that's, in my opinion, also, if all news aside, it makes sense, because when did we had an alt season before the post halving year, right? Like, it happened in 2021 and in 2017, period. So it, you can put all news together, but time wise, it wasn't supposed to happen in the first place. And yeah, also, there was no money yet, really. Like, there was no certainty. There was not a lot of money yet. Again, the Fed was reducing their balance sheet, so people have less spare room. So it's a lot that depends on macro. And again, for all I know, maybe next week that could change, right? And yeah, it's normal cycle behavior from what I see. I like, if altcoins would have really sustainably blown up last year, then I would have said, like, hey, this is different, because they were not supposed to do that in a halving year. So yeah.
So I know you love to zoom out, and I don't know if you can share a chart answering this question.
I have a chart for everything.
But if we compare this cycle with the two previous cycles, when have we normally seen an alt season, and what's different this cycle?
Well, again, alt season, you have to know how to define that, right? People, they sometimes think like, hey, my altcoin goes 10x, it's alt season. Alt season is purely when altcoins outperform Bitcoin. Then it's the season for altcoins and not for Bitcoin. Now, altcoins have been going up if you look at this, but that's just because Bitcoin went up, right? If I look at others, Bitcoin, this is everything in the top 125, excluding the top 10. So no Bitcoin, Ethereum, but also no stable coins, really big ones, and no real high cap. So more the stuff that we invest in to get wrecked. Then you can see that this chart has been going down, right? And it's very simple. This chart going up is alt season. This chart going down is no alt season. And it feels very different. But then again, if you look, last cycle from the top until we really went into alt season, it took 1,085 days. So far, it takes 1,197 days. That's 100 days difference, right? Like, I do feel like, man, in a cycle of 4 years, having a few months difference, is that actually different, right? Like, I don't know. And in 2017, the real lag started in March, right? That was like last month. So it is not really that different, in my opinion. So far, it's 1 month later. Could have been 1 month sooner. That's fine. But again, if you look at the Fed balance sheet, if you overlay that, then you can also see like when did we had an alt season during QT, right? QT is simply this line going down. They reduce the balance sheet, right? Up is
Mhm.
QE and nothing, just flat lines, also fine. You know, it makes sense. Like here, QT started and alt season kind of just vanished. Here, it started to tick up and it started to go up again alt season, right? Here as well, the balance sheet went down, alt season went down. And now they literally said like, hey, we are slowing down the reducing. They started doing that in April already, and they kind of hinted that QT is going to stop halfway this year, which could be in the next FOMC meeting or the one after that or July. But that's how you interpret. That's how you depends on what you see as halfway this year. But again, that's nothing different actually. So I don't see that much differences actually. It feels different in the middle of it, and it like man in crypto, a week feels like a year. So let alone 1,000 days, right? So it feels like well, this is never gonna happen, and the people here felt that as well, and they gave
Mhm.
up,
Mhm.
and then it happened. So yeah, hang on. It's nothing weird, I think.
So going by this, do you still think that utility coins can do a 50 to 100x, or do you think that's a little bit late in the market now?
Oh, I mean, look at this chart. It's actually rather too early than too late. No,
Okay.
look, I think that the biggest danger in crypto right now is people underestimating how big it could be. That's the thing. Like, whenever we go down, people feel like, oh, it can't go down any further. And at a certain point, they kind of accepted it, right? They accepted, like, oh, it's just going down. I'm wrecked. It's not going up again. And then the danger is how high it can actually go. Like you have to realize all the liquidity has been taken away from these altcoins, right? It takes nothing to pump these altcoins. If you look at random altcoins, like even, you know, the quite higher caps, like a render, for example, this thing was so low that it pumped with like 90%, while there was no reversal, there was no alt season, there was no huge fantastic news. It's just, yeah, low liquidity. So can they pump a lot? Like I'm not saying that every utility coin will 50x. I think that's a little too optimistic. But am I suggesting that a lot of good utility altcoins will 50x or more? Yeah, pretty sure like that will happen. Definitely. Yeah.
Okay. So is it still the same thing? Is it still going to be Bitcoin, the money flows into Ethereum, then the high caps and the mid caps and the low caps and then the memes? Are we going to have a traditional sort of cycle? Or is
Yeah.
Ethereum's price action has been really, really quite bad actually.
Look, I mean, you say the word traditional, but what does traditional mean, right? Traditional, that goes back for a long time. But let's be honest, how many cycles did we really had so far? That sheet that you're talking about, Bitcoin, Ethereum, high caps, low caps, was made, I think, during the 2017 cycle. Yeah, but that was based on basically one cycle. That's how it happened back then. And people kind of still think like that's how it's supposed to go. Like, I don't think that there is a traditional way yet. Will it first go in Bitcoin? Yeah, that's what we just witnessed, right? Bitcoin it did a 6x. I think that most people in the altcoin market wish they did that, right? So, but that's always like Bitcoin is safe. It's totally different than altcoins, basically. Um, but at a certain point, yeah, you will get the money flow. Like, of course, people they take profit out of Bitcoin. They feel like, wow, I made so much money with Bitcoin. I don't know what the upside is. Hey, I see altcoins being of some of quality, still low. Let me put it there. That's one domino piece that falls, and then the rest will follow. And how Ethereum reacts to it, people say we need Ethereum to go up to get an alt season. It could also be that Ethereum goes up because it's alt season, because at the end of the day, Ethereum is also an altcoin. But I don't think I think actually that Ethereum is a great buy, by the way, because yeah, if you look at the dominance for Ethereum, puts it a little in perspective. Yeah, it's sitting at the same level at where it was in January 2020 when it was sitting at $150, right? So it's not bad, but I don't think that traditional money flow where it's Bitcoin and then Ethereum and then altcoins. I do think that it's Bitcoin high caps altcoins, but yeah, Ethereum it will follow, I think, but it's not a leader.
And what do you think about Solana? So Solana has had a lot of money flow. It's had a lot of hype because, well, the memes. So for Solana, memes was a double-edged sword. So memes brought a lot of developers. They brought a lot of hype to the chain. They kind of put the chain out there. But again, there was a lot of, pump fun, all these rug pulls, etc. Donald Trump and his team obviously chose Solana to launch the Trump coin, and then we saw, a huge amount of people get into Solana, and then after that, Solana's has basically been down. What are your thoughts on Solana? Is it going to be an Ethereum killer, or is it more of a novelty chain?
Oh yeah, I think that the word Ethereum killer is a little like we had that in every cycle. And at the end of the day, Solana is, as it is right now, at least, is not going to be an Ethereum killer, because Ethereum has something that Solana doesn't have, and that's the real institutions behind it, the big people, right, that want to really work with a lot of money. And let's be honest, Solana is fast, it's cheap, but Ethereum is that as well, especially with the layer 2s built on it like Base these days. But you cannot rely on Solana like you can rely on Ethereum, because Solana gets congested quite a lot. Yeah, as a big institution, you cannot risk that. They rather pay a little, $300 of fees to make sure that it works. And Ethereum never went down, never. So I think that technically wise, it won't be the Ethereum killer. Also, market cap wise, with all the, like, Ethereum had nothing going on, Solana had the biggest hype, and market cap wise, it still was very far from Ethereum. So I don't think that should be seen as something competitive in the first place. But I don't know about Solana. It's a good chain. It's fast. It's super easy. That Phantom Wallet app, for example, it works flawlessly, and that was what it brought people in. Like, it was super easy, and that made it easy to create that whole meme ecosystem on it as well. And although it brought a lot of volume and traction and attention to Solana, it also brought a very bad reputation to Solana, which they now have to do something with. So I don't know. If we get an insane meme run again, Solana will probably be the chain that does that. But apart from memes, Solana has good stuff. But it was memes that were really running it. And I don't know. I'm not too convinced that Solana will do that fantastic.
Okay, let's look at Cardano. Now, Cardano's had a lot of bullish news come out. It's slow in a development, but it is the most peer review, most academically built chain, if that makes sense.
That's nerd stuff, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of Cardano?
I don't think much of it. Like, in the tech, like I said, it's nerd stuff, and I'm not into that. Like, tech wise, they're fantastic. adoption wise and how fast indeed like they suck. Like, what are you doing, man? It takes forever. So I don't really like that. Crypto moves fast. As a project, you have to move with it, like at the end of the day. But as a coin, it is one of the mainstream OG coins that almost everybody knows, and only for that reason I think it will do well.
Okay, we've just had a question about virtuals. We spoke about virtuals last time you were on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did I say? Did I say something stupid?
No, you didn't. You just said it's AI agents and they could just be a phase. Like we had the metaverse phase last cycle, didn't we? Oh my God, metaverses were so big. And it was like, they will never go away because we'll always need, it's the future. What do you think of virtuals now? How's the coin doing?
I think it had a pump lately. Let me take a look. Yeah, so the thing is that virtuals, it had that huge, like, this wasn't a utility run, right? This was a hype run. This is mostly hype. If you look at it, where it went from a $50 million market cap to like 4.5 billion, that's more than product, right? So that also tells you, like, whoa, watch out, because the cool off is going to be pretty insane as well. And then you saw, like, from 4.5 billion to 300 million, like,
Oh gosh, yep. Oh my God.
it made a lot of people rich, and it wrecked a lot of people. So, and now it has a good pump. I don't know why exactly, but that's a good sign. At least I wouldn't buy into it right now necessarily. But I think that it's gonna take a lot, at least, to go back here, though. It can happen, but again, this was mostly hype. I think it went too hard, too fast.
Because there wasn't any original AI agent coins. I think it was the biggest one, and now we've just got so many, and it's the same thing with what happened with metaverses. Okay, awesome. So when we had another question, actually, when retail does come back into the market, do you think that they're going to go towards utility coins, or are they going to stay with the memes?
I think that mostly it will be as simple as what coins are listed on Binance and Coinbase, that kind of retail. So that will mostly also be utility. I think that that's where the money flows into the high caps, like the XRP, the Doge, the Cardano, the whatever. And the real retail boom, I think, yeah, that will be the hype, whatever the hype is by then. That could be meme coins, but then again, we just had a meme coin hype. Then we had an AI agent hype. It could be a meme coin hype again, but if anything, it could be something else in a couple months. I think the hype right now is just markets going up in general. I think that there won't be necessarily in the coming few weeks a specific narrative or hype. There will be some coins, of course, exploding all over the place, but I think overall it's first that the market will go up in general, and that people are actually also going to look like, what is quality? Because we have seen in the last couple of months, though, that if it's purely a meme coin hype, that's nice, but people can look back at that and be like, well, that's not sustainable, right? Let's get also into something that doesn't wreck me that much. People have learned from this, I think, I hope. And yeah, from this point, how low prices are right now, like I said, you can go into meme coins. Why though? Like, render a pretty safe coin 2x in like a week. Like, and I think that people will also look at that like, man, why should I take more risk for now the same returns? So yeah, no, in my opinion, it's still going to be utility, and it's only going to be more and more utility, because the utility is literally getting better, and there will be more utility instead of promises.
Okay. So you look at the charts all the time. Now we see institutions buying Bitcoin. They're taking Bitcoin off the exchanges. and the OTC is running out of Bitcoin. There's not, the Bitcoin supply is being bought up quite a lot. In the same sort of with utility coins, though, so excluding Bitcoin, with the utility coins, these ETF and these big players, are they buying the coins and holding them, or are they trading more now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, I can make a case for both scenarios, I think. I mean, these people, they are responsible for holding a lot of funds, and they are often pretty visionary, right? They look like, hey, what could be big in the future? And they know that trading could be dangerous. On the other hand, they also know, like, hey, this is how cycles move, and crypto is volatile still, so we should sell before retail dumps on us. So it could be both, I think. I don't really have an answer to that. Sorry.
So when Donald Trump bought out the crypto stockpile, and there was quite a few coins on there, like
Link, I think, and
Link, yeah, Link was on there. Link was like literally
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
How do you think that's going to impact the market now? Say, for example, if we have before the all-time high, we have 30 coins that have got ETFs. Retail's going to come in. Do you think they'll go for those ETF coins rather than other utility coins?
Maybe, I don't know. I think it won't be like maybe now, because people feel like, hey, that's confirmation for me that that coin is safer. On the other hand, when people really buy, like when retail steps in and they really pump the price, they don't buy it because of confirmation. They buy it because the prices are already going up, right? And whenever it all goes up, the utility flows all around, so everything will go up. So I don't think it's going to be like, I think you should look like, hey, why did they choose these coins? Like, what's there? What's so great about that project in the long term? I don't think you should necessarily try to be wise and be like, hey, America is buying all these coins. Everybody knows that you're not front running anybody. So yeah, it's maybe a little safer, maybe, but it's not going to give more returns necessarily, I think.
Okay. So how are you positioning yourself for 2025?
At the moment, I don't have Bitcoin. Again, like, the charts show me that, if I can share a couple things again, by the way, that like, by the way, ETFs, they hold around, what was it, 5.9%. So I saw you asking the question before, like, do you think it matters that ETFs can manipulate? I think this is by far not too big of a percent to do that. But how I'm positioning myself, again, this shows like, hey, the Bitcoin season is like dangerous to bet on right now. So I'm not doing that. But I'm also feeling like, man, the market is still a little too uncertain at this moment to bet on these real small caps. So I'm just looking at slightly boring coins at the moment, like said, Render, a Ronin, a Tau, a Trader Joe, if I want to go a little bit more risky, because I believe in AVAX, some Launchpads. That's what I'm just buying whenever the market is having a real good shakeout. So not every 10% dip, but we really discussed it here and here. So that was so far so good. And I feel like now it's just waiting. The altcoin market will go way, way, way higher than a lot of people think. And I think the most important thing is to have realistic expectations. And that doesn't mean like, oh, it can only do a 4x. No, you should realize that it can do way more than that. Otherwise, you're going to wreck yourself as well. Total market is now below its fair value. Like, the fair value is 5 trillion at the end of this year. every cycle it went way above the fair value. So that way you can calculate a little bit like, hey, what's normal for crypto to go towards to this cycle? How much do altcoins usually dominate in a cycle? So how high could the altcoin market go? My opinion, that's around 2 trillion, and that sounds like a lot, but that's by far not a bull case scenario. Not at all. um and that way I'm now calculating like, okay, so what could that mean for my AVAX? How does that move compared to the rest of the market? What does that mean for this and that? And based on that, I'm now working on my selling targets. Like, when should I get out? I have my positions. If you don't have them yet or enough, it's not the bottom, but this is a great moment. Like, all these the stochastic RSI on the weekly, it's just pointing upwards. Like, the last time that happened was here right before this leg, and the time before that was here right before the first leg of this cycle, and now we're getting the third, it looks. So don't wait on confirmation for too long, I would say, because it is already here. Step out of your disbelief. Don't be a bear anymore. Like, it has been a nice ride. You guys did a great job. Congratulations. Time to, like, let this play out. Like, yeah, I'm really excited.
Okay, so position yourself now. So when do you think the all-time high will be?
Yeah, look, if I call a certain month or whatever, that's quite risky, because there's a good chance that it won't be exactly that, and then you later can say like, oh, he was wrong. But my estimation is end of the year, right? Like, we have seasonality, and that so far always played out, right? Bitcoin topped out end 2017, end 2021, end 2000 or end 2013, 17, 2021. Yeah, I've been saying 2025 the end for a long time, and every time we go down a bit, people say like, that's not gonna happen, and now we're gonna go up, and then it looks more likely to happen. And yeah, news moves it in the meantime, but I do think we will get there, and it's probably because of the news that we just had about banks not needing that much permission to implement crypto. Now, if you read about that, but I think that's bigger than all the ETFs combined, and that could cause that big boom, and then maybe by the end of the year, the recession that everybody has been speculating on, that will give a narrative to the fact that we are going to top out at the end of the year. But the chart's already telling us. We just need to wait what the news is going to be, I think. That's always the case.
Explain that. Why would the banks, them being able to hold Bitcoin, be bigger than the ETFs?
Well, if you look at where did I had it? Banks, crypto. Let me look at it like that.
It's funny that you say that, because I think Michael Saylor, because I do follow him and I do watch him quite a lot, he said, try to get into Bitcoin before three things happen. Now, I could be wrong, but I definitely know one of the things was before Bitcoin gets an ETF, before the banks can hold Bitcoin. And then I think the last one was something like when they allow it on company balance sheets or something similar to that. But yeah, no, that was just something I was just interested in.
Yeah. Yeah, and it is interesting. Can't find the article that I was. Maybe this was it. U.S. bank regulators pull back guardrails on bank crypto activity. So this is pretty much, if you read this, and this has some time to play out, right? But this is basically saying that, banks are not going to need permission to implement crypto. So if I now, let's say I'm 60 years old, I'm a boomer, I don't trust anything, I think everything is hard, and I don't want to, I can just go to my bank account on my app, see my money, my trusted money that's getting inflated and stolen from me, but it feels good. And I can just literally on my bank say, buy Bitcoin. And it's there. And it's safer. It's more easy than ever, because the real mainstream doesn't come from people understanding how the hell MetaMask works, or even setting up a 2FA on Binance. These are already steps that people feel like they don't want to take. And to be honest, most people I know don't know how ETFs work. I want to buy into an ETF. Where do I start? Like, It's not easy yet. And this could make it really easy. This could make it real mainstream. And
Mm-hmm.
if that happens, yeah, that could be the narrative, I think, is bigger than anything else.
Mm-hmm. Welcome, Saint Wolf. Saint Wolf's another YouTuber, and I've been on his channel. He's lovely. He's in the Hex and the Polychain community. If somebody can just link his YouTube underneath, that would be brilliant. Just very quickly, just before we finish off, we do have a couple of people asking about W3W. Do you just
Web3 Wheels.
Yeah, Web3 Wheels. Do you just quickly want to explain that for anyone who was interested?
Yeah, so that's a crypto project that I'm running. And what we basically do is we collected funds with the community together, to put it very shortly. And we invest in crypto launchpads like ChainGPT, Seedify. We participate in pre-sales. And why? Because they can get refunded, so there's low risk. And if you make a 10x or 100x in an IDO season, then you make some good money. And the money that we make, we distribute it to the stakers of the Web3 Whales token. But we also use it to buy back our token, to burn it. So that whole project, yeah, is running basically parallel to the rest of the crypto market, but a little more on steroids, right? It's lower cap. So if the market goes down, we go down harder. If the market goes up, we go up harder. And in very simple, in a bull market, people want to gamble. They have money to gamble. They are not early anymore. So what are they going to do? They're going to go into IDOs. They're going to go into pre-sales, right? It's hard to imagine right now, but that happens in bull markets, making money. And that's how we already positioned ourselves, by having the highest tiers on Seedify, ChainGPT, all that kind of stuff, Neo Tokyo, etc. And that's just how we collectively be a whale, basically, in all new projects. We invested a shitload in Portal, for example, and in the seed round, that was absolutely crazy. And we have a lot of these things on our balance sheet. So that's what we are running.
Okay, awesome. So Fomotion's details should be in the description if I did my work properly and I put them in there. If not, I know somebody has put them in the chat.
Right.
And then I will also have them in my Discord and Telegram group. And welcome, Blinkly Blink. I hope you're well. Fomotion, it was absolutely lovely having you on. I know we've worked together a few times and I'm so comfortable with you. And you do drop a lot of good alpha. So thank you so much for coming on.
No worries. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. And you should come on my channel sometimes as well, by the way. Let's do that if you want.
Awesome, that's brilliant. And thank you to everyone in the chat. I'm actually keeping up with the chat today, which is lovely. And I've read most of your comments. Like I said, I normally get 1,000 comments in the chat, which is amazing. I do apologize if I've left anyone out. Just very quickly, a shout out to Pennywise and Crypto Farmer, who were in the chat last time I had a live, but I forgot to shout them out. But that's brilliant. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all soon. Oh, sorry, and one more thing, BB90, welcome. Bye, everyone.
Welcome and bye.
Bye.